Our food wisdom comes from Calvin Trillin, who said, "The most remarkable thing about my mother is that for 30 years she served the family nothing but leftovers. The original meal has never been found." Faith Middleton, glad you're joining me and the gang for the Food Schmooze Party. Feel free to consume this podcast in 1, 2, or 3 bites. She's the diva of droll. Jane Stern of Road Food is our special guest. New crazy delicious recipes in our Thanksgiving recipe kit and a post-Thanksgiving survival kit. Bring on the microwave, plus 2 ingredient recipes. Let's party, people. It's great to have you joining the party on the Faith Middleton Food Schmooze, the place to have a good time. All right, my treasured food buddies are here. Senior contributors Chris Prosperi, Alex Province, plus our special guest, the woman I affectionately refer to as the diva of droll, Jane Stern of Road Food. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
We've heard a lot about what to do on Thanksgiving. It's time, we think, to hear about what not to do on Thanksgiving. And who better to get the don't list started than our guest, Jane Stern. Jane is co-founder with Michael Stern of Road Food. These Pied Pipers of food have been traveling the highways and byways of America since 1977. And they uncover the best local eateries for food lovers coast to coast. Their road food books are treasures on my shelf. I never miss their columns in Gourmet Magazine, and I have been lucky enough to go with them undercover on a few memorable restaurant review assignments. Jane, do you remember the time back in the day when you and Michael and I went to review a new Connecticut restaurant and the kitchen staff was so blasted on cocaine, they sliced, no exaggeration, about $5,000 worth of truffles on our pasta?
I do. Oh, my gosh.
This is something we've never talked about.
No, it's certainly not on air.
We had white truffles, right?
Do you think they were high, or do you think they just knew it was and me and Michael? And
no,
therefore...
I do not. You know, we've seen that happen, right?
Yeah,
where they're onto you, and absolutely not. This is what happened. Michael went in the kitchen for whatever reason, and he came back out, and he said, you know, he did the little nose signal, and but we were eating the best pasta we've ever.
Let's go back.
They're no longer there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So that is what not to do when you're opening a new restaurant. So let's get into what not to do on Thanksgiving, Jane.
Oh, you're playing into my negativity, which is always my favorite side of myself. You know, there are so many don'ts. Don't make a big deal out of Thanksgiving, which sounds like the biggest oxymoron. But in fact, I have personally ruined more Thanksgivings by overreaching, by cooking things that I had no idea how to cook, that I wanted something new and different and cutting edge. And once when the Cuisinart first came out, I know I'm dating myself, I was like 1975, I bought a Cuisinart, and the entire Thanksgiving dinner was pureed turkey.
Because you love the Cuisinart?
Yeah, it was like nursing home food, you know. So don't be afraid to just do the old tried and true standards. I have to say, I can't stand brined turkeys.
So don't brine your turkey, you're saying?
Not if I'm coming, because I've never had a brined turkey that doesn't taste like pastrami. Just leave the thing alone. Get an old frozen butterball thing out of the freezer.
Do you think turkey tastes like something?
I do. I love turkey.
I do too.
And
I love it.
I love it. And then, of course, the whole reason for Thanksgiving is the next day, which I'm not original in coming up with this idea, but open-faced hot turkey sandwiches. I mean, that's really what Thanksgiving is about. Feed your friends and then get them the hell out of the house and then just go wait until the next day when it's all yours.
So why do we wait until the next day? Why don't we make the turkey dinner those open-faced turkey sandwiches?
What a great idea.
Well,
a new
one
trend.
year I said to my family, I asked them in advance because I thought, I just don't want to insult people. And I said, do you mind if I bring slices of bread to the table because I want to do my special sandwich that I really wait for it more than the meal. And they said, no, we don't. You know, my family is like that. This is the best. And they said, sure, do whatever you want. So out came a jar of mayonnaise, And I make a sandwich of the turkey, Pepperidge Farm bread, the stuffing, lots of mayonnaise, salt, and pepper.
No cranberry sauce?
I don't put the cranberry sauce, but it doesn't, you could. And so that was my sandwich while they ate the gravy and the whole thing.
I'm having Thanksgiving the day before Thanksgiving, and then I'm serving. I don't know, do I want to part with all the leftovers? That's a tough call. And that's the other reason I would say a big don't is don't be a guest at somebody else's house because then you don't get the leftovers. I mean, it's tricky.
You're into a whole thing here because, for instance, I'm going to my niece's this year unexpectedly in Massachusetts to see the new family dog, and it's all going to be exciting, their new home. I can't wait, the kids. But that means there's no turkey at my sister's. And so we decided we're going to make a turkey so that when we come home that night, we'll be ready the next day to get up and have our whole second Thanksgiving.
Faith,
do it all over again.
I so relate to this. You need leftovers and you need tradition in Thanksgiving. I have a cousin who makes the same repulsive Jell-O mold every Thanksgiving.
That's on your don't list.
I love Jell-O bowls. I love it because that's what my family always serves. I mean, believe me, this would not be on the cover of Savior or, but it's just an old Jell-O mold. And if that Jell-O mold was not there, I would be heartbroken.
Do you make it?
My cousin makes it.
What's in the Jell-O mold?
What color is it?
Jell-O, bright red.
Is there
Bright
canned
red.
fruit cocktail?
Of course.
Okay.
And shredded carrots. And Michael Stern's
Fruit,
mother.
Wait. Fruit and shredded carrots?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't you remember
and
the
miniature
70s?
marshmallows.
Is it Cool Whip or whipped cream?
No. When
No.
does that come out? With the meal or
Of
what?
course.
As dessert.
Oh,
No.
Dessert. No. I mean, it comes,
It's part of the meal.
Does anyone remember the 70s? Come on.
Exactly.
That was the 70s.
Wait, is that a side dish or a palate cleanser?
Yes,
or...
it's a palate cleanser.
I don't think Jane had palate cleansers at her
And the
family dinners.
miniature marshmallows are extras. Michael Stern's mother used to be the Michelangelo of Jell-O molds, I think because she was from the Midwest.
Oh,
I mean, they
yeah.
would be like the Sistine Chapel, like stained glass. There would be like 5 different colors of Jell-O with colored marshmallows, with big marshmallows, little marshmallows.
Like the Tiffany effect.
Absolutely.
Don't you
Jell-O.
remember you could buy the Jell-O molds?
You
Like
have
in all
to.
different shapes and sizes. There were square ones.
Try and find one
right
now.
I
You
bet you can't
Oh, do
find
you
the Jell-O
remember?
mold now.
But all right, we're doing don'ts, and we want to tell you that our Thanksgiving kit is up there, and it is filled with actual things that you can make and enjoy. And we have a couple new things. We've got Lydia Bastianich's warm wild mushroom salad over frisee, with red wine vinegar and an extra virgin olive oil, and it is killer crazy good. We've added that to the kit. Plus, we have Sara Lee Chase's feta dip. Now, if you like a dip that has tang, some people don't like that tang in a cheese, so they're not into goat or they're not into. If you like feta and those Mediterranean flavors, for me, this is one of the best dips I've ever had in my life. It is fabulous. So check that out. It's at foodschmooze.org and Facebook. Search Faith Middleton Food Schmooze. Coming up, we're going to talk with you about how to survive after Thanksgiving weekend. We've got this post-Thanksgiving survival kit, how to do the easiest things in your microwave with just 2 ingredients. Easy cooking before the onslaught of the next holidays come. So we've got really delicious, fun things coming your way. And we're also going to tell you about what happened when I engaged in imaginary eating, no, not on Ambien, where I just dream up something in my head thinking this could never happen. And Chris Prosperi made this come true for me. We just had this thing, and it is pecan brown butter shortbread pie. I have to say, imagination is an amazing thing, I guess, or it's Chris Prosperi because it's delicious. Okay, Jane, here's what I want to know from you as we continue. I'm sure we have more don'ts, what not to do on Thanksgiving.
Don't come and go ick at what I cook. Don't tell me, oh, you put marshmallows on the yams. Don't tell me you put fried onion rings in the string beans. I know. That's the way it's supposed to be.
All right. How about
So you're a traditionalist.
I am totally. It's got to have
Turkey?
Campbell's soup, cream of
Yeah.
mushroom.
And turkey onions on top.
Yeah, turkey,
Yeah,
right. Or
the canned onions. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with
you know what this is proving? That Thanksgiving for so many people is about memory.
Yes,
Yeah.
it truly is. That's why I'm not crazy about all the fancy new things that you can do with turkey, with Brussels sprouts. I mean, I have to have the traditional can of jellied cranberry where
The
when
tube.
the tube when it comes out of the tube, it still has like the date embossed on it.
The bottom of it.
From the
Reinforcements.
I mean, how would it be if you went to church every Sunday and the priest decided he was going to come up with an all new and all different litany? No, I mean, you want pretty much the same thing, maybe a little bit of a twist on it. I am a traditionalist.
I like that about you.
It's always a funny thing between family and friends with Thanksgiving. If you go to your friend's house, you're usually going to get better food and better company and have more fun. But if you go to your family, you get the same old thing and you kind of remember from whence you came, that you came from a family of Jell-O mold makers and eaters. You don't have delusions of grandeur about what Thanksgiving should be.
But equally good?
In my mind. I mean, actually,
me too.
my favorite Thanksgiving meal that I ever had was one year when I had neither friends or family around, when there used to be Woolworth lunch counter.
1970s.
Right, and I got the Thanksgiving turkey dinner. You know? And it was horrible but wonderful. It was like canned gravy and
White
it
bread.
was just exactly 2 pieces of white Wonder Bread and like a little nurse's pill cup with the cranberry sauce in it and brown peas. I loved it.
I'm a first-generation American, so I was always blown away about it, and I can never understand that. We moved into this world now of fancier food and stuff, and why some of my friends are embarrassed by that food. Now, I didn't grow up on that food, but I love it. I just love the kitsch of it. I love that is our food, that green bean casserole has something about it, and I can't. And again, it's not even food memory for me because I didn't grow up with it, with the turkey onions and cream mushroom soup. But when I eat that, I get a sense of place that is what we were and what we are. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And this thing about being with family. Frank Bruni in the Times did a piece at one point, not so long ago, where he was talking about when he had shorted his week of vacation with the whole family because he thought, I'll have had enough of that. He missed these incredible moments and said, now I just go to the whole thing, and it includes things I wish I hadn't been a part of, but it includes things I would have missed if I hadn't done this. So for me with Thanksgiving, and I say this humbly, I'm just a lucky person. I adore my family. So I love being around them. It's not that we don't have disagreements or fights or political arguments and all the things that go with that, but I just I can't wait to walk in the door. I'd love to be with them. I love that.
Boy, that's terrific.
It's true. And you know what I always say too is you can't fight with friends like you can fight with family. Do you know what I mean?
If you have the right friends, you can't.
Yes, maybe. But do you know what I mean? Your family's your family, and you can go places and argue and scream and whatever with your family because at the end of the fight, they're still your brother, sister, mother, father.
Exactly.
But friends may get offended, and you might not go push the argument as far as you do with family. I just feel that way. Like when my brother and I fight, we fight.
But you're going to recover, right?
Of course, because he's never not going to be my brother.
I'm Scotch. I'm into that Scottish philosophy. When the philosophers of opposing views argued, what they did was, and I read this in the New Yorker, they would go to a pub and they throw their arms around each other's shoulders. They drink tankards of ale. And they argue like crazy, and they're still friends. It's like the old days in the Senate.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So that's how I've decided Thanksgiving should be. So we're going to recap some of the things that are in our Thanksgiving kit. And we want to tell you, this is a big announcement, that Chris Prosperi, Alex Province, and I will be staffing a 911 Thanksgiving hotline for you.
All right.
All morning, afternoon, and as late into the evening as we can go the day before Thanksgiving. So if you have questions, line up your questions for then. We're going to be eating the next day, so we can't staff the hotline. And that means we can't cook the day before because we're going to be here for you, okay? So we're going to do it on Facebook, Faith Middleton Food Schmooze. That's how you get to us. And we're just going to be answering like crazy as many questions as you have. And we know the main question is going to be, my turkey is not unfrozen. Because we can start right there. Whatever you want to ask. Jane Stern is here, co-author of Road Food, which was founded in 1977. I can't believe it. I still refer to these books. My dream, unrealized, is to get in an RV and travel across the country, as Jane and Michael Stern have done for so many years, and do all those back roads that they have done and come upon the best pie in that little shack on the back road. I mean, so many things. Jane, who's a friend, has sent me in the mail from discovering the most incredible jam and from some lady in Georgia, or, I mean, I can't even tell you the things that have arrived. It's not just that I can get those things because I know Jane. Now you can experience what Jane and Michael have experienced. Wait until you hear this. Jane, tell me about the new road food extravaganza.
Michael and I have teamed up with a company in Seattle called Fexi, and they are brilliant at putting on events. So we are going to have a road food dinner in every major city this coming year. I think we're going to have 18 in the first 12 months. The first one is December 3rd in Washington, D.C., and it is going to be the best of road food. On the menu, there are going to be candied bacon, smashed potatoes, fried chicken in hot pepper sauce, lemon icebox pie. I mean, all the things that you think, do I really want to drive 300 miles to get that? Well, now you don't have to. You just
Are those people coming in, or are people making those recipes based on the originals?
Both. We're having both. And then the dinner after that, which is 2 weeks later, is in Atlanta. So we're going to be all over the country. And
what about the Northeast? How close are you going to come to us?
Well, since I live in the Northeast, and I live 20 minutes away from the studio, I would like to have all the events here, but believe me, we will have plenty of them. The Fexi company is in Seattle, so you know we're going to get that with the Northwest covered. Sure. But it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be in all the great cities.
So exciting.
I am so excited, and I don't have to cook for all these people.
I know.
I just have to say, make this, do this.
This is my version of a restaurant where I just sit down and have a good time with people. Exactly. I don't actually do anything but have conversation with people.
And everybody who comes to the dinner gets a free copy of the latest road food and gets to ask us questions and gets to hear our ridiculous banter, which we have perfected over 40 years.
Is it a sit-down?
It is a sit-down dinner.
Indoors?
It's a 4-course sit-down dinner.
And are there wines or cocktails or everything?
Everything,
of
course.
My God, this is fantastic.
In fact, I think there's nobody under 21 allowed, so you can make sure that there's liquor.
All right. So the ticket site is listed on our website, foodschmooze.org. Go to that, and it will connect you right with them so that you can attend this first dinner or all the dinners. Each dinner is different, or they're all the same?
Everyone will have a different menu. It will be specific of its regional
that's the coolest
area.
You're like the Grateful Dead of food.
So like
On
Jerry
tour.
Garcia.
On tour.
I should have died 10 years ago, but I'm still going on.
So I could kind of follow you and try all these things.
Exactly.
And let me say, when I have gotten these little gift packages through the years that Jane and Michael have been doing their column at Gourmet and, doing road food and stuff, the stuff is so amazing. And so I cannot wait to try it.
Couldn't I fly us?
Alex just got his pilot's license.
Please. December 3rd.
Okay.
What if we do food schmoozes from a couple of these things?
Oh, I would love that.
Seriously.
That would be absolutely
We'll wait for you to
terrific.
be done talking, and then will you come on this show and be with us on the Food Schmooze and
of
talk?
course.
And we can talk about what happened. We can have some of your guests
Because
on.
all of these recipes that we're going to be serving really have histories. Do you know Carla Hall? She's a good friend of mine, and she's, I hate this term, but she's a celebrity chef. She's on the Chew, and she's a brilliant chef, and she just opened a hot chicken restaurant in Brooklyn, and she's from Nashville. This is from Price's Fried Chicken in Nashville. It's a particular type of fried chicken that's pan-fried and then dipped in boiling hot sauce, so it makes the Cinnabar crust. And we're using Carla's recipe and Price's recipe and our recipe, and all these dishes have a real heritage, and they're
healthy.
Yeah, they're all healthy, right?
Cardiologists will be on hand. It's going to be the most amazing thing. Okay, so stay with us, Jane Stern, Chris, and Alex. More mouthwatering conversation and fun ahead on the Faith Middleton Food Schmooze. I hope you'll make a charitable contribution to feed the hungry. We're online now at foodschmooze.org. We'll be right back. Okay, that was your first bite of the Food Schmooze party with another bite on the way, so we'll make this fast. You won't miss a drop of pleasure if you sign on for our free podcast at foodschmooze.org. Then we'll send it to you every week. In case you're new, you can also listen to this show on WNPR every Thursday afternoon at 3 and Saturdays at noon. What makes me happy is sharing the discovery of something great with you. Party with me and the gang and our new website, where you'll find some of my favorite easy, and I have to say, wildly delicious recipes, wine, cocktails, and 2-minute videos. Check it all out, foodschmooze.org. Here's your second bite.
Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread had a fight. Beans knocked cornbread out of sight. Cornbread said, now that's all right. Meet me on the corner tomorrow night. I'll be ready. I'll be ready tomorrow night. I'll be ready. I'll be ready tomorrow night. I'll be ready. I'll be ready tomorrow night. That's what Beans said to cornbread.
We have a free podcast for you, meaning you'll never miss a drop of pleasure. Just sign up for it once at our site, and we'll automatically send you our show every week so you can listen on your schedule. Also discover the delicious food, wine, events, and cocktails we feature. We love talking with you, so stop by often and say hi. We're always online at foodschmooze.org. Schmooze, think of spelling school, S-C-H. Foodschmooze.org. I'm with my treasured food buddies, Chris Prosperi, chef and co-owner of Metro Beast Restaurant in Simsbury, Connecticut, wine broker Alex Province, and Jane Stern of Road Food. We're going to tell you how to survive Thanksgiving, but first I want to talk about recipe invention. This is a wild thing that happened to me. I was sitting around thinking, the pecan pie needs work. It's very gloppy.
Were you asleep or awake?
I was driving, and I thought, this is very sugary.
So you were awake.
Yeah. I was awake. And I said, I love pecans. I love the idea of it. What could I do to make that better? And what happened was that I started, maybe the way you invent a recipe is to just string together a whole bunch of words that appeal to you. So I started thinking about shortbread. I thought, I love shortbread. And then I thought, well, that could be the crust of a pecan pie. And then I thought, what could make shortbread better? Well, if it was brown butter shortbread, that would be even more buttery. And it had a good amount of salt in it, sea salt in it, so that it had that sweet salt pivot. So I thought, okay, that's the crust. And I thought, what are we going to do about all that gloppy stuff in a pecan pie? No corn syrup and, molasses and all that stuff. And no offense if you like that. I just thought it's too much. You can't even taste the pecans.
It's too much.
So I thought, well, what if we candied just the pecans? A little sea salt on those, too. But what is going to be on top of the shortbread crust that the pecans can nestle in? Because all that Cairo syrup jazz is not going to be there. What could be there? Well, some people like chocolate in their pecan pie. And I thought, well, you could do a slick of chocolate. And then I thought, what if we did a whipped cream and that could nestle all those candied pecans? And there you go. Then you put all the pecans on the top. And so I thought, well, that's never going to become a reality because I'm not only a fearful baker, I'm a horrible baker.
Do you have any chef friends?
Chris Prosperi to the rescue, followed by all of you in this room who, when we tried this, made little tweaks. Can't thank you enough. And we have a way for you chocolate people, because I'm taking it away. We have a way for you to get it back. This recipe is going to be on our website. This is what I call, and you're not going to believe this, this does not exist online anywhere. There are pieces of this, but there is no brown butter shortbread pecan pie with whipped cream. It just does not exist.
Too many words.
And meatballs. Does not exist.
More parm on that?
So the recipe is up there. So let's go through what happened. Chris, I cannot thank you enough. Jane, your idea about substituting double cream or clotted cream for the whipped cream, which does collapse after 3-4 hours, is just genius. It's so intense. I think that's genius. So I can't say I invented this by myself. The idea, the imagination, Chris used his father's shortbread recipe. Chris is giving us that shortbread crust recipe with the salt added to it. So let's walk through this. How you make the shortbread crust and how you make brown butter shortbread.
He was actually my baking instructor at culinary school, so I knew we had a shortbread.
This is CIA,
This
Culinary
is Culinary Institute of America, and I knew we had a shortbread. So
Your dad was.
Yeah, I still had the old binders, and I found the shortbread recipe, and I looked at it, and it's like, you know what? We can very easily make this into a brown butter one and just up the salt a little bit. So you start with butter. You need to make like a dough out of this, so you need some of the butter softened, and whole. So
room temperature.
Like room temperature. So I took like about a quarter of the butter out, and I put it in a hot pan, and I browned it.
Okay, that doesn't take very long.
No, it's such a small amount. It took less than a minute to just get bubbly and brown. And then I took my softened butter, I put it in a bowl. It got sugar, egg yolks, flour, and then I doubled the amount of salt that he used because you said you wanted a nice little salt punch in it. And then I took the brown butter and just sort of poured it in there, and then you just sort of mix it by hand, till it gets nice and crumbly. And then I pressed that dough, that loose dough, into a pie tin.
You can eat it then, right, if you wanted to?
Well, it has egg yolks in it.
That's okay.
It is so delicious.
The shortbread
Right, and it's a
is
great
amazing.
shortbread. And you just take that 375-degree oven, 20-25 minutes, and that's baked. So you basically have the crust done.
Okay, so that comes out. So you can see that you can do this ahead.
That
so
part,
for,
way
for
ahead.
Thanksgiving, dessert, at any time, this can be done ahead. Okay, so that is set aside, that pie shell of salty shortbread, brown butter. Here comes Jane's tweak, which would be to get some clotted cream or double cream.
Yeah, and she even has a place to get it, right? Or a name
Yeah,
of a company
Brooklyn
that does it.
Creamery is the new place that is distributing this.
What is it?
It's the world's heaviest cream. It's
A lot
like
of fat in it, right?
oh my
cream
God,
on
it must be like
Jupiter.
100. Yeah, cream on Jupiter.
Jane's idea was not traditional whipped cream, although you could certainly go that way, but to use usually sold in a glass jar, a double cream. A lot of gourmet stores sell this stuff. If you don't have it, then make fresh whipped cream.
A little sugar, a little
Exactly.
You put it, but it means you have
bourbon
to
or whiskey?
You have to finish the whole pie because whipped cream will go flat in about 4 hours, so it's got to be finished within 4 hours.
vanilla. And I want to say, Faith said that's not a problem.
Chris is going to candy the pecans, or if you like, you could use hazelnuts.
Hazelnuts, almonds, whatever nuts you like.
Sure, but we did pecans, so because we were thinking Thanksgiving pecan pie. Chris, how'd you candy it?
And I just did the simplest way I know, and I took some butter, put it in a pan with some brown sugar, melted it down, and then I took my nuts, a couple cups of whole pecans, and I threw them in the pot, and I just cooked that for about 5 minutes together over a medium-high heat until like nice and glazed. And again, the ratio I used isn't a high ratio, so it's not really sticky. So it's a light glaze, right? And a little pinch of salt, and that was it.
And then you spread them out, they harden, and you've got candied pecans.
Simple, yeah.
So we just take that shell of the salty shortbread, put about a 1/2 inch of cream all the way up to the edges, And then we took half the pecans and we chopped them up. And this was Alex's suggestion. And we put the chopped pecans across the top of the whole thing to give it a background. And then we took the rest of the whole pecans and very carefully lined them up so they look pretty on the top, so that you see, like with pecan pie, all the whole pecans. And it sliced beautifully. I probably shouldn't be saying this because we came up with this recipe. It was far better to me than traditional pecan pie. I mean, it was just killer good.
And lighter, too. After dinner, like, pecan pie is kind of heavy.
If you want chocolate,
You could eat the whole thing.
You can certainly serve pieces of good quality chocolate, truffles you make, truffles you buy, alongside this for people who love chocolate. And then all your bases are covered. It is really a wonderful thing, and I can't thank all of you enough. So to see our pecan brown butter shortbread pie, go to Foodschmooze, SCH like school, foodschmooze.org. The recipe is posted there.
Shoe fly pie, an apple bandari makes your eyes light up. Your tummy saying howdy, shoe fly pie, an apple bandari. I never get enough of that wonderful stuff.
So after Thanksgiving weekend, when you've demolished all the leftovers, you're exhausted from everything you've done, don't you all think we need a survival kit?
Aspirin.
The gym.
Major pharmaceuticals.
Vascular exercise, a trainer.
Therapy.
I have this theory that if you looked at when people go out to dinner the most, it would be probably the week after Thanksgiving, because Hanukkah and Christmas, Kwanzaa, they're all coming. So we created a survival kit of the simplest recipes that we could think of. That means dishes that are microwave cooking. We've got these all posted online at foodschmooze.org. We're having conversations with you on Facebook and loving it. Faith Middleton Foodschmooze. And we're going to talk with you about these recipes now. We've got microwave cooking, and we've got 2-ingredient recipes, which are really fun. I want to call your attention as we get into some of the microwave stuff to my favorite on this list, and that is Barbara Kafka's fantastic recipe for Szechuan green beans. She said they're a triumph. Well, Barbara doesn't lack confidence, but she is absolutely right. She used to do the microwave cooking column in the New York Times, and these are fantastic. Let's talk about that. Jane, we love together. How many times have we gone out for Chinese food?
Oh, God.
We love this.
As many grains of rice are... I don't know. That's like it needed a poetic answer. Many. And,
That's so kung fu of you.
Exactly. Barbara was really the first chef who took microwaving seriously. I mean, people laughed at it until they tasted the food, and the food was phenomenal.
And this is at our website, foodschmooze.org. These are the Szechuan green beans. Garlic cloves that you smash and peel, of course, a little fresh ginger that you slice up, some scallions, and you just chop them up, a little vegetable oil, some red pepper flakes, a little tamari soy, rice wine vinegar, and then the fresh green beans, and you just cut the little tails off them. How easy is this? And this is the point of our Thanksgiving survival kit. You just put the garlic and ginger and scallions in a bowl of a food processor, buzz, and it gets finely chopped. And then you put it in a dish, kind of a rectangle glass dish, microwave safe, and you add the oil and the pepper flakes, and you just cook it like that in the microwave for several minutes. And then you take it out and you stir in the rest of the ingredients and you cook it again for 15 minutes and you just stir
15?
15 minutes on high at 100%, and you just stir it a few times. And then that's it. You can serve it hot or cold. They are a triumph.
Can you use leftover string beans?
They're just par cooked.
Exactly.
You can do the same recipe.
She's calling for, in that second cooking, 15 minutes. So what happens if you did 7 and then checked them?
I think you should just check them every couple of minutes. It's really kind of a faultless dish. I mean, you can't screw it up.
My only thing is I'm crazy about sesame oil, so I would just do a couple of glugs of sesame oil at the end when the dish comes out, because you don't want to cook sesame oil. You just would go glug, glug, glug and give it a toss, and to me that would be just the most divine
What
thing
about
ever.
the chili sesame oil?
Oh, that's
Instead
a
of
good
the
idea.
pepper flakes.
See, we have to invent recipes together.
Cooking in the microwave reminds me, I tried to make a hard-boiled egg in the microwave, probably 1986, and it shot through the top.
Do you ever put marshmallow fluff in a jar in the microwave?
What happened?
You
It's
never
like
eat it again.
Vesuvius.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
That's the last time I ate marshmallow fluff.
So I was over at Mark Bittman's house, and we all said to each other, but probably after a few glasses of wine, what do you think would happen if we put the peeps, those yellow peeps at Easter, into the microwave? Let's watch. And so we watched it like on TV. It was
melt?
It was like Mr. Bill.
Yeah.
Jane Stern is here. I'm with Chris Prosperi and Alex Province. We are giving you the Thanksgiving survival kit for that week after Thanksgiving before the next wave comes. And here's another microwave recipe. I've kind of rediscovered baked apples, and that's really fun. But I found an apple crisp recipe for the microwave that is fun. And I do a twist on this, so I'm going to give you, and we give this to you on foodschmooze.org, I'm going to discuss this recipe for a microwave apple crisp and then tell you what my twist on this is. So you just need a few Granny Smith apples that you peel and you core and you slice. So we're not doing whole apples. And then a little bit of butter, a little bit of brown sugar, and all you do is put these apple slices in the bottom of a square glass baking dish. You can do a pie plate if you want. And then in a bowl, you mix together the butter, the brown sugar, the flour, the cinnamon, and some allspice. And you sprinkle that over the apples, and you cook it for 10, 12 minutes until the apples can be pierced with a knife, and you've got this instant apple crisp.
That sounds good, too.
Really fun.
Where's the vanilla ice cream?
I mean, this is like instant kind of a thing. The way that I do a twist on this is that instead of doing those short cooking oats, I put my favorite granola on them because I
do
like
that too.
You do?
Yes. Why can't you stuff all of this into a sheep's stomach and call it apple haggis with
Dessert
oats?
haggis.
Right.
So Jane Stern is here, Alex Province, Chris Prosperi, and we are doing the survival kit for Thanksgiving. Of course, our actual Thanksgiving recipe kit is online at foodschmooze.org. We're talking with you all the time on Facebook at Faith Middleton Food Schmooze, and we love having conversation with you. We're on there morning to night. We're just very engaged with you, and we really enjoy that. We've got this survival kit, and we're going to be posting all these recipes. When you go to our site for WNPR, that's foodschmooze.org, you can sign up for our podcast, which is pretty cool. That just means you can hear the show. That's fancy language. I don't know why we don't say that. You just hear the show, and we call it on demand, which really means you can listen on your schedule. You just sign up once, and then the cool thing is it's free delivery. We send it to you every single week. You don't even have to lift a finger. You just go, oh, it's here, and then you can listen to the show and be part of the parties. We love that. Also, see us online and talk with us there. Since it's the survival kit, can we all together do these 2-ingredient recipes?
Oh, fun.
Here's how it happened. I certainly know, like Roseanne Gold and her 3-ingredient
1, 2,
recipes.
3, yeah.
I've seen 4-ingredient recipes. I typed this in as a joke because I thought, this will be kind of funny. I'm thinking, what's going to come up? Like gumballs rolled in peanut butter or, a sweater soaked in brown butter. What could you possibly do?
Doesn't sound bad.
Sonny Anderson goes on the Rachel Ray Show and does these fantastic recipes. And so we're going to tell you what these recipes are on the other side of this break. I'm with Alex Province, Chris Prosperi, Jane Stern of Road Food, who is taking road food on the road. And you can go to her dinners and eat all the foods that she and Michael Stern have discovered all these years on the road in Washington, D.C. That link is up at our website, foodschmooze.org. Please support your local food growers and food makers. We'll be right back with more Food Schmooze. One more mouth-watering bite of the food schmooze coming up. Ready? Here's something great to know about. Sign up for the app called NPR One. Just download it from the iPhone App Store or your Android device. And once you do, you can set WNPR as your local station. Couldn't be easier? Download the free app NPR One and start listening. Let's party on. More food schmooze.
Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you apple and a plum and an apricot too. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you figs and dates and grapes and a cake. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you Christmas tree. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you marriage ring and a pomegranate too. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you peach and a pear and love your head. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you an Easter egg. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything.
Oh, I love when she. I mean, I say to the producers, please, can we play the part till she says, "I love your hair." It's just nobody like Bette Midler. Nobody. We've been talking with you about these 2-ingredient recipes, and we're going to get to them in just a second. If you're with us on Facebook, we wanted to say how grateful we are when you take just a moment to like us. Then we say, you know what, we're going to make you first in line to get our hot tip feed. Okay, let's do these 2-ingredient recipes. Do you doubt them?
Yes, I doubt them, because that's like saying spaghetti with bolognese sauce and you buy the jar of bolognese sauce. Well, yeah, theoretically that's 2 ingredients, but...
Well, if it's a busy weeknight, that's not a bad way to go. We're into relaxing here. The whole idea is not to have to whip up your own bolognese sauce, because you just went through... You know, people are practically making their own mayonnaise on Thanksgiving. I mean, it just has become so labor-intensive. So our idea is to give you the simplest things, but good.
Yes.
Here's the thing, Jane. So I'm going to try and see if I can get you to...
Yeah, see if you can win me over with this.
I probably won't win on this, but I'm gonna give you a shot, because these things, I tried some of these things, and they are really good. The first one is Sunny Anderson sharing her recipe for sun-dried tomato cauliflower pesto. What she does is break up the cauliflower into florets, sort of bite-sized florets, small enough so that when they go into the oven, they caramelize. But first, in a bowl, she tosses them with sun-dried pesto, which I do buy in containers or in jars in the supermarket because, and we'll put it on pasta because I do like the flavor. She tosses that, the cauliflower florets and the sun-dried pesto, puts it in a roasting pan or on a tray, and then into the oven it goes. And out comes these crispy sun-dried tomato-coated cauliflower pieces. You could serve those on pasta. You could serve them as a side dish. You could make it your main thing.
Does sound delicious.
It's good.
You won me over.
Okay, how about this, though? She does a puff pastry cheese stick. So you take puff pastry and then you grate Parmigiano, freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano or whatever kind of cheese you want. You kind of roll it up into these cheese stick shapes and you put it in the tray and into the oven. It goes, they puff up a little, and suddenly you've got these cheese sticks. So if you're having a tailgate party or having people over for drinks and you want to serve something, I mean, really hot cheese puff pastry cheese
wonderful.
stick.
It sounds
But is that
wonderful.
a meal, though? Do you eat that as a meal?
I would. Yeah.
Oh, then I've got one. You just need sour cream and the onion packets.
Yeah,
that you put-
exactly.
You don't
There
even
you
need
go.
chips. You just like dip with your finger.
French onion, Lipton's French
Yeah.
onion dip.
2 ingredients.
Your finger and onion.
No, I guess it can work, right? I'm thinking I do one at home. I never even thought of it as a 2-ingredient recipe. I take the pre-bought prosciutto, and this is like a midnight snack kind of. I come home from work and there's no food, and I Wonder Bread, just regular white, cheesy white bread, and I take a piece of prosciutto, I put it on top, and I throw it in the oven.
It's like a pizza.
Nothing else, just the prosciutto and the bread, and the prosciutto
makes
gets
sense.
kind of crispy and cooked, and the bread gets toasted, and then I just
So the bread just absorbs the melted
and then I just
prosciutto
fold
fat.
it in half and I eat it.
That sounds
That's
have
2
a-
ingredients, but that's a midnight snack, not a meal. But I guess it could be.
I
a meal.
don't know a kid
I have
who
a glass
wouldn't
of
find
wine.
that
I have a
terrific.
glass of wine with that.
I
So
would too.
there's dinner.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my one-time only favorite one-ingredient meal? Remember when the Atkins diet first came out? And all you could eat was, fat. I brought a bar of Plugra unsalted butter to the movies and ate it. It was wonderful.
I bet. No, who needs popcorn?
Do you like butter?
I do like butter.
So if you have
I don't know if I can eat it.
Is that
Just
in
a stick of
moderation?
it.
Is that-
I
is
just
that- is
don't
that
think
Take
I
a
can.
little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and
I was in Italy, and a friend of mine said, you have to try this truffle dish. And she kept going on and on and on about how amazing it was. And I was like, well, what is it? And she's like, I can't really explain it. I don't know what it is. I just know I could eat it. And it comes in a little ball, like they scooped it like an ice cream, but it's not ice cream. It's savory. And you just eat it. And I'm like, what is it? So we drive. I don't even know. We drove like 3 hours to get to this restaurant through the countryside of Italy. And we get to this place, and they brought it to the table. And all it was butter and truffle and salt, and that was it. And I grabbed my spoon and I started
Sounds
eating it,
fabulous.
and I'm like, oh my god, I'm eating butter, and it was mind-blowingly
for
So
great.
this brings us to another 2-ingredient recipe because of what you've all been talking about. It's a go-to thing for me, and that is just a bowl of hot pasta with grated Parmigiano Reggiano and maybe a squeeze of lemon juice, and just toss. I don't know if salt and pepper count as an ingredient, but if you don't want butter, you could do it with olive oil, whatever your preference is, whatever your health issues are. Just those 2 things, a meal in a second for me.
I had a 2-ingredient meal actually for dinner last night. I had a red, is it Korean or Chinese, a yam with butter. Surprise.
What
And,
kind of butter?
Guess. But it's like a baked potato and butter or a yam and butter. You don't need 100
Yeah.
other things on the plate.
I guess this is the simple thing. I'm notorious. I go home. You can buy the shrimp already cooked in a bag, individually frozen. I'll pull a couple of those out and run them under water to thaw them, and just squeeze some lemon on it and eat them right out of a bowl. And then
They're
just by
pre-cooked
hand.
though, right?
Yeah, they're pre-cooked, and just squeeze lemon on it, and that's a nice snack.
Good
too.
protein.
Yeah.
So there's a restaurant in New York in the West Village called Potatotopia, and it's a baked potato bar. And so you can go in and have one thing plopped on the
Sounds
top
great.
of your... Yeah, I haven't gone into this place yet, but I think to myself, I really could make a meal out of that baked potato and, some topping that I think is really
Wendy's fast food, you can still get a baked potato if you just drive
Really?
through Yeah.
Just a plain
A
one.
plain baked potato or with sour cream and whatever.
No
It's
kidding.
the only fast food potato, and it's a good potato.
So let me tell you how since we're doing the post-Thanksgiving survival kit, how to survive for the week after Thanksgiving before the next onslaught. That's what we're talking about. We've given you the microwave recipes, especially Barbara Kafka's Szechuan green beans, which are not to be missed. And now we're doing Sunny Anderson on Rachel Ray's show, doing these 2-ingredient recipes. She does an egg drop soup, Jane, where she takes a box of Swanson's chicken stock, puts it in a pan, and then gets a whisk and very quickly starts whisking the hot liquid. As soon as it's really hot in the pan, whisk as fast as you can, and then cracks 2 eggs in and just keeps whisking. That's how egg drop soup is made.
You guys were just saying about, a stick of butter in a recipe. I'm the opposite. When I read a recipe, let's say curry. And it says half a teaspoon of curry powder, and I wound up dumping in like half a cup of recipe ingredients can be really nutty.
Yeah, they can be off balance.
Yeah.
And so in my cookbooks, Jane, you will see X's drawn through the amount.
and penciled
because
in.
I'll say,
Absolutely.
8 tablespoons, not 1.
yeah, seriously. Sometimes it's less. Most of the time it's more, more power.
I have trouble looking at a recipe and when you're going to saute something and they say a teaspoon
exactly.
of oil. And you're looking at the pan and you're looking at the teaspoon in the pan and you're like, I can't saute
like your little
3
fingernail.
I
But
can't
that's like-
saute 3 chicken breasts in that.
Exactly.
That's like on cooking shows, though. They say 1 tablespoon, but you watch them glug, glug, glug,
Exactly.
glug, glug.
Or it comes out of the magic oven and it's beautiful, but it's
With the shrinky
swimming
dink on
in
it.
oil, right?
Well, they're trying to position themselves as calorie friendly. Yeah, that's one of the most valuable things that I think the New York Times does. The New York Times, when they put their hands on a cookbook and they start making the dishes and they say to you, this many were terrific and this many failed, or this book is useless, or whatever they say, really a handy thing.
Are there any cookbooks that the recipes all work?
Yes, I would say that Ina Garten's cookbook, they all work.
Yep.
I would say that
She has a team of people.
she's very
Yeah,
good.
Food
Yeah.
52.
Amanda Hesser's Food Genius Recipes book is so incredible.
Marion Cunningham's
Yeah,
recipes or Fanny Farmer
Barbara
ones
Kafka.
are fabulous.
Joy of cooking.
Yeah.
Right? I
Although
mean-
I like the earlier
Yeah,
editions.
but they all work.
They do work.
They all work. I mean, I get books across my desk all the time, and I'll try recipes. How about Silver Palette? I mean,
perfect.
I've
was gonna
never
say
made a recipe
Sheila
in that book.
Lukens.
Right?
Exactly. They're
Never
all-
made a recipe in that book that didn't come out great.
Everything we have talked about you can find online. We are on WNPR Thursdays at 3, Saturdays at noon. Thank you, Jane Stern of Road Food. Weekdays, hear my 60-second food schmoozes. Join the conversation with us. We're always up for a good time online at foodschmooze.org. Until our next party, eat, drink, and be merry. In New Haven, I'm Faith Middleton.
Everybody eats when they come to my
This is the place to have a good time, so come back. The Faith Middleton Food Schmooze is on WNPR Thursdays at 3 and Saturdays at noon. And you'll hear my daily 60-second food schmoozes. We're online always at foodschmooze.org. Eat, drink, and be merry. In New Haven, I'm Faith Middleton.